Getting rich is a roller coaster ride, which is especially difficult for a third of American households who make less than $50,000 a year. Even though that income doesn't scream rich, there are some exceptional people who have managed to break societal laws and sacrificed enough to end up with millions to their name, and you can be one of them as well. Picture this. We are looking into Jim's world, who is in his mid-20s, making $41,500 a year living in Brooklyn. Jim was told that the first step to becoming rich is being frugal, but that's really difficult on a limited income. Jim's biggest expenses are housing, food, and transportation, which is the same for basically all of us. The obvious way to cut down on these would be things like stop eating out, get a couple of roommates, and start taking the bus to work. But all those things have a big impact on his personal and social life. So the hack that Jim could use is to tackle the biggest expenses first, which usually is housing. Instead of moving back with family or getting roommates, we can try to look at other cities with a lower cost of living. Compared to an expensive city like Brooklyn, a smaller city like San Antonio, Texas, will lead to the average rent decreasing from $3,350 to just over $1,300 while giving you a bigger living space. And moving also helps in other things, as you can move to a state with no state income tax, meaning that with everything being a bit cheaper, if Jim wants to maintain the same lifestyle he had in Brooklyn, he would only need $26,131 a year compared to the $41,500 he was making. For most jobs, relocating to a smaller city will lead to a smaller paycheck, so here's an easy way to compare if it's worth moving or not. Start by looking at what someone with your job will make in both cities. For example, this is what a general laborer makes in each city, and it's clear that the income looks about 18% less in the cheaper city. But the number which we are looking for is called the disposable income. It's the amount left over after we have paid for all the necessities. After we count for taxes, we start to see the difference, as Texas doesn't have any state income tax, but that's just the beginning of it. The major hit comes in housing. Here are two properties in each city which are up for rent right now. The one in Texas is a bit bigger and offers more amenities and is up for $626 a month compared to a smaller apartment in Brooklyn going for $2,275, meaning that after taxes, housing, and taking an 18% pay cut, Jim is left with over $24,000 if he moves compared to about $9,200 in an expensive city. After this realization, Jim ends up moving, and that's where the fun starts. On average, we should be investing about 15% of our income every year. For Jim, that's $5,104 a year, or $425 a month. Now that's a big amount, but Jim is smart, so he decides to take some time and learn about personal finances so that he can achieve that investment goal every year. In general, we all have access to these same investment tools, and one of those is a 401k. This is a retirement account which lets you invest your before-tax money, which grows without any taxes till you retire. And a lot of employers offer a 401k match as well, where they will match a portion of the money you invest. The typical match is that they will give you half of every dollar you invest till about 3% of your total income. So for Jim, if he invests 6% of his salary, he can get half of that from the employer. Another wonderful thing about the 401k is that every dollar which you put into it, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So to achieve the goal of investing 15% every year, Jim will have to contribute about $3,650 a year, for which he will get $1,021 as maximum employer match and $438 as tax rebate. He will be able to invest the full 15% by just putting in over 10% from his own pocket. Some of you might be thinking, what difference will investing $5,000 a year makes? Well, the one massive benefit Jim has is that he is in his mid-20s, meaning if he is able to consistently invest the 15% every year from the age of 25 to the typical retirement age of 65 at the average stock market return, he will have just over $2.2 million invested, from which he can withdraw a good 4%, or just over $90,000 every year to live on. I want to emphasize on the age, as time in the market is one of the most important things for retirement planning. As we can see, just by starting 5 years early, he can make almost 60% more than someone who started at the age of 30. I realize that no two people have the same situation, and the purpose here is to help us realize how small changes can make all the difference. I would suggest you talk to a local financial advisor in order to make a plan unique to yourself, as this is just a hypothetical scenario, and none of this is financial advice. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.